What's going on, guys? Welcome to again the Third and 10 podcast. I'm your host Nathan Nguyen, joined by my guy Brian. Here to my right, happy Tuesday to you. We got a lot to talk about. So first off, Brian, how you doing, my guy? I know you're still at the beach, like we talked about in the last episode, right?
Yep. Yes, I am.
How is it
Still
over
down here.
there?
Pretty good. I'm good.
Man, you're enjoying yourself, man. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta get myself to a beach myself. So you're just inspiring me to get outside. So hopefully one of these days I'll be recording myself from a resort or something before the summer ends. But well, that's an issue for future Nate, not
Uh-huh.
present Nate. But we got a lot to talk about today. We got Giant stuff. We have a couple players that are rumored to, or the Giants should be signing. We have that to talk about. We have Notre Dame, some games that we should look out for. We have Joe Burrow with his comments on the 18-game schedule. And then finally, we'll end the show with our top 5 actresses, and just a message to our future wives and girlfriends. If you find this episode, these are just for entertainment jokes. That's all you got to know.
Sure.
All right. Without further ado, let's get started. Our first segment, Inside the Giant, presented by SeatGeek. Use the code BELLYUPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Sporting events, concert tickets, comedy shows, all that stuff. You can find tickets for those only on SeatGeek, the best place to get your tickets. All right. First order of business. We understand that the Giants don't have a lot of cap space to work with. We know about the Darren Waller thing. Let's not talk about it as much, but with him retiring, the Giants did save quite a bit of money. I think at the moment the Giants have around 10, 11 million in cap
Yeah.
space,
Something around there.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're probably wondering, what can the Giants do with that cap space? One possibility is adding depth at a certain position, maybe on the offensive line, maybe defensively, maybe add some corners because the cornerback room isn't that certain. But hey, what can I say? I love offense. And when I saw this on Bleacher Report, it got me thinking maybe this isn't a bad idea. According to Bleacher Report, the Giants proposed a trade idea, or Bleacher Report proposed a trade idea for the Giants, per se, that involved a running back on the Pittsburgh Steelers now. Brian, when you think of Steeler running backs, right, you think of guys like Franco Harris back in the day, right? You think of, I don't know, Rashad Mendenhall not too long ago. I'm
The
just thinking
bus.
of, yeah, there we go, the bus. But these days, not one, but 2 running backs play for the Steelers who both have starting potential in Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. So Bleacher Report was like, okay, the Giants, what if you traded away a 2025 6th-round pick and a 2026 4th-round pick, and in exchange, you get Najee Harris? Now, I understand for New York, you want to explore all the avenues, right? If you want to compete this year, even though it doesn't look like they will, it's nice to, explore and say, hey, maybe if we get this player, then they'll look more competitive. And Najee Harris is one of those guys. Because heading into the season, right, Brian, we talked about running back by committee,
Mm-hmm.
but this offense won't look the same because, sure, you have a committee, but you don't have a running back like Saquon Barkley, who attracted defenses to open things up for the play action, for Jones to run option runs. So, for just a 2025 6th-round pick, Brian, and a 2026 4th, this isn't a bad idea. Or do you see a scenario where it's like maybe the Giants shouldn't pull the trigger?
Yeah, I don't think this is something the Giants want to do. Like you mentioned, like establishing the run, the play action. Najee Harris doesn't do that either. Like ever since Najee Harris has been in the league, all we've been doing is waiting for that next step, and that next step hasn't come. So much so that Jalen Warren has jumped Najee Harris on this roster. So I much rather lean on guys like Eric Gray and Tracy Jr., see what they have, and try to develop those guys as running back rather than take a chance with someone who some see it as a washed-up running back already with very little upside in this league.
Yeah, and then from a statistical standpoint, Najee Harris has ran for 1,000 yards in his 3-year career so far in the NFL. He made his Pro Bowl his rookie year. I know statistically, if you look into it, he barely eclipsed 1,000 yards in the past 2 seasons, but he did run for like 1,200 his rookie year, which is pretty impressive, to say the least. So the team did not pick up the 5th-year option on
Hmm.
Harris. Steelers did and they did it for a reason, right? Because we just mentioned you have Najee, but you also have Jalen Warren, who last season, right, we saw he could be a starter, and he played pretty well as a starter himself. But here's the thing: I like it because I know, like I said, we keep repeating ourselves. Oh, the Giants are going to run running back by committee. We have no issue with that. Yeah, but it'd be nice to have a lead back who we can just say, all right, 20 carries for sure. Screw the committee, just one guy. Yeah, and Harris to me, he can't serve as that guy. And the Giants, they've when you think of guys like Allen Robinson, right? You think of Gunnar Olszewski,
Hmm.
you think of Miles Boykin. Those are three guys the Giants have gotten from the Steelers under Joe Shane. So it's clear that Joe Shane has a familiarity with Steelers playmakers per se.
Hmm.
Uh, and it works out for both sides. Do you think, as a Steelers fan, you're thinking like, okay, why would we trade away one of our highest draft picks for a sixth rounder and a fourth rounder? You're not gonna, you may not
And
even
you have
use them.
Warren. Warren will take over as the lead back soon. Like
Exactly.
Najee Harris, everyone says like, oh, he's slow. We won't take that next step. Like, yeah, try to get rid of him now to get what you can for him.
Exactly. So it's like a fresh start for him, and a fresh start for the Steelers that they can comfortably go into 2020, the 2024 season and be like, okay, we got Warren, we're fine. Harris is out of the
Hmm.
way. For us Giants, so we're like, okay, we got an RB1. We don't have to explore the committee now. There's going to be a lot of cuts at that running back position, but
Yeah,
then,
and then that opens the door for like someone like an Eric Gray getting cut because you're not going to
yeah,
cut Tracy Jr. You just drafted him.
exactly. So unless they kept four running backs, so if we did bring in Harris, we would go Harris, Singletary, Tracy, and then Gray, and then everyone
Yeah,
else who we've gotten is off the table.
is gone. Yeah, exactly. So you'll lose the guy we signed from the XFL. You'll lose Turbo. You'll lose all those interesting guys that we thought could compete and are a reason to watch preseason camp.
Hmm.
But it's just like, do you really want to give up assets for a running back? Like we're seeing it Hard Knocks right now. Joe Shane's talking about getting value, signing running backs. Are the Giants going to want to give up, and sure, a late round picks don't do much, but it is a lottery ticket at the end of the day. We kind of know what Harris is, and we have two young running backs. The Giants, I feel like, are going to be more likely to try to develop those two then go out and get a running back who has issues and concerned already. Tracy Jr. is a complete unknown in this league. We saw Gray a little bit last year, but the hope is he took his first year in the NFL, worked on the problems he had, and it's not going to be a better running back. I'd much rather go see what those two have, especially in a year where like the playoffs aren't a guaranteed for us. Like we're not supposed to compete this season. Now, if we were like a piece away and Najee Harris could be that missing piece, I think I'm more into it. But right now, I think the Giants need to go from a more development standpoint.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So, I
Hmm.
guess to wrap up Harris specifically, if the Giants were to trade for Harris, would you be in the middle? Would you be upset
I
in a
don't think I'd
way, or
be
would you be
upset. I
content?
think I'd be more in the middle about it because I would see like, okay,
Okay.
like yeah, that this is the Giants bringing in like a veteran back, but we probably should just kind of focus on development and see what Gray Tracy Jr. has. No, that's more just me thinking of running backs as expendable and like you can kind of get them anywhere. You don't need to go out and get veteran backs to be great backs. Like who's saying Tracy Jr. can't be a 1,000-yard rusher? We saw Isaiah Pacheco rush for 1,000 yards in his rookie season. He was a seventh round pick.
Gotcha. Yeah. Y- we've also talked about this before about, okay, if you want to win a championship, you don't, like you just said, we don't have to have a first round running back. Najee Harris was a first round running back himself in 2021. So if we want to, kind of follow recent trends, maybe this isn't the best idea. So at the end of the day, I would like it, like I said, because we have that for certain
Mm-hmm.
RB1, but like I said, or like we've discussed on multiple occasions, this isn't a bad idea. This isn't a bad idea, but let's just roll with what we got. But hey, if he comes to us, great. If not, we're not gonna lose sleep over it because we have three running backs in contention for carries in 2024.
Mhm.
Singletary, Gray, and Tyrone Tracy, who I'm very excited about, and I'm sure you are too.
Oh, I'm very excited to watch him.
Another guy that the Giants have been linked to is Michael Thomas. A trade won't be necessary to get him as he's a free agent. The since the Saints released him this offseason. And a Bleacher Report article mentioned a few guys the Giants should sign in free agency, which included Dalvin Cook, Patrick Peterson, and then the aforementioned Thomas. And if you think about it, right, Malik Neighbors, Michael Thomas, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton to an extent. That's a pretty high level receiving core. Now, Brian, I'm going to just ask you, why shouldn't the Giants get Michael Thomas? I'll go for the for, you
Yeah.
can go for against.
Well, it's the same reason why you should get Najee Harris. Like Malik Neighbors is going to be wide receiver one, no matter unless the Giants went crazy and brought in someone like a Garrett Wilson or like an actual wide receiver number one. Malik Neighbors is wide receiver number one, regardless. The Giants have two very young, interesting wide receiving prospects in Jalen Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson. If you bring in Michael Thomas, well, he's now automatically your wide receiver number two. That's going to take away playing time for Jalen Hyatt, who's probably going to be the outside guy, and it's going to take away receptions from Wan'Dale Robinson, who's going to be in your slot. Because instead of looking towards Hyatt and Robinson as the 2 and 3, it's going to be okay. Neighbors, and now Michael Thomas. And then, outside of that, you're not really going to see Hyatt or Robinson get on the field, get what they need out there. It's kind of just takes away from the drafting. And Michael Thomas is the same guy who's had injury problems throughout his entire career. Do you really want to put up a big chunk of your cap space on that and hope he stays healthy? We just did that with Darren Waller, and it didn't work. I go back to my insanity point. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And now this time, if they do it, they're now hurting Hyatt and Robinson, who we both said in the show think can be solid receivers in this league. Robinson can be a great slot guy, and Hyatt is a deep threat. Hyatt can get down the field and turn the burners on and be that guy that Daniel Jones or whoever the next quarterback of this team is can go down there for the big play.
Great points. And I understand it, obviously, just like Harris, right? If we do sign Michael Thomas, great. If not, we're not losing sleep because we have great receivers already. Well, not great, but we have young receivers like a Wan'Dale and a Jalen High. We still have Darius Slayton. I'm a guy that I like big receivers. Thomas is 6'3", 212. He's shown he's a great route runner. You mentioned costs to get him, and I understand that might be a concern. But considering his past 3 seasons, you would think he's stupid.
He's probably at the lower end, but still, it's money that could be going to somewhere else.
So you're saying you wouldn't spend, I don't know, like a 1-year, $3 million contract? No?
I probably wouldn't because I want to see Hyatt and Robinson out there more. I'd rather not see Thomas because I know what Thomas is, but I wouldn't be devastated or like this is a horrible move for the Giants if it's that low.
If I'm Joe Shane, I sign him hoping that getting a commitment from him that he can get back to himself meaning his 2016 through 2019 self, especially 2019 when Thomas, had like 149 catches for like 1,700 yards, had like 9 touchdowns. The point is, I like Thomas. I always did. I know injuries have been a pain in the butt for him these past few years. I signed him with the intention, yes, you will have a chance to play on the outside, but if you don't show up, we will demote you to wide receiver 4, which opens the door to say, because if we sign Thomas, there's no way Darius Slayton remains on the roster.
No, Darius Slayton would be cut or traded probably that week.
Exactly, 100%. So that's the thing. So if the Giants do sign Thomas, Slayton has to go because Slayton, there's no way you go from the Giants' leading receiver for the past 4 to the past 5 seasons to demoted to wide receiver 4 now to 5 if Thomas gets signed. And
Slayton can go somewhere and be a wide receiver 3 or 4 on a good team.
I
Like
could, yeah,
if he goes to New England, he's probably a wide receiver too.
that's true. And if he wants that, great. We would get trade value back, or draft picks back, and that'd be great. So I'd love Thomas. I do. I wouldn't mind having him here because that just, defenses will have to deal with when healthy, of course, a Neighbors and a Thomas, and then Wandell and High on the outside. But like I said, I bring in Thomas, yes, to be that wide receiver two, best case scenario, a great weapon for Jones to throw to. But I tell him, hey, we're gonna sign you, but we have two other guys in Hyatt and Robinson. If you don't play well, plus we're gonna limit your snap count to start because we want to see
Mm-hmm.
what we get from Hyatt and Robinson. But if you show up and you produce, then we'll go from there. So
Yeah.
for 1 year, 3 million, it's not that bad. And
Mm-hmm.
from what we've seen, when healthy, this guy is still one healthy, a top 10 wide receiver. It's
Yeah.
just the health that
But then
concerns me.
also, like, yeah, that's a great point. Like coming in, like, hey, you're on a leash. But at the same time, if you're Michael Thomas, do you want to go somewhere where you're on a leash and you have these guys breathing on your back? Like if I'm Michael Thomas, I'm like, well, do I really want to go to New York where I have two young receivers who this organization drafted? It's not like these guys are left over from Gettleman. These are guys that Joe Shane went out, scouted, and drafted. These are his guys. Do I really want to be, behind them? And like if I mess up one or two times, I lose 50% of my playing time and slot down the wide receiver four. Is that something Thomas is going to want to do? I wouldn't want to do that. I want to go somewhere where I know my playing time is secure.
True. And I would argue that there hasn't been a team that contacted him. We're already in July and we've nothing. It's
Yeah.
been months since he's been released, and no team has called him up because they're scared of his injury, and that's fine. If you make a great point where it's like, why would you want to come here? Well, no one wants you, so why not? If the Giants offered you something, why not give us a try? We if you come here, we will give you the football, but just be healthy.
Yeah.
And
And you know, show show on the field that you can still play. Don't come in here and
exactly.
be a Brandon Marshall or a Kenny Galladay who's
Oh,
come in here and just
God.
flame out.
I remember those days, bro. Oh man, were you excited for Brandon? I was
Oh, I was
very
hyped. I saw on
ecstatic.
Twitter not Reddit. They said like, what NFL team in your lifetime's been the biggest disappointment? I'm like the 2017 Giants when they brought in Brandon Marshall, supposed to have the most dynamic receiving core of Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, and Brandon Marshall. With Eli Manning throwing to them. That was supposed to be one of the greatest offenses we've seen in our lifetime, and it was a 3-13 horrific season.
Bro,
We went from like this team to be a wild card team, possibly winning the division, to this team sucks and has major problems to deal with.
it's just we had so much excitement, and it's like, no, if y'all just stayed healthy and all that fun stuff. Kenny Galladay same way. I was
Yeah,
very,
Kenny Galladay was more just like that's just a sign that didn't work out.
yeah.
The
So
scheme didn't work. Maybe if they don't bring in Jason Garrett and actually have like an actual coordinator who's not like shoving square pegs in the round holes, maybe Kenny Galladay's story's different in New York, but who knows?
he did score a touchdown though, thankfully.
One
Even
touchdown.
one touchdown, hey, against the Eagles too, out of all teams, man. So that
Who was
that
throwing the ball that game? That was
it was
that
was it
Tyrod? No,
no, it was
that was Davis Webb. Davis
there
Webb
you
was starting
go.
quarterback that game.
Out of all quarterbacks, out of all
Mm-hmm.
guys that could throw him the football, it was Davis Webb, man. I'm telling you that he couldn't catch touchdown all his time with the Giants, and all of a sudden decides to catch one against the Eagles in the last game of the season with nothing. It didn't even count because we were gonna make the playoffs anyways, and it
Yeah,
was
we were
Davis Webb.
resting our starters. We were resting our starters, and like Kenny Galladay, get out there. Like, oh, okay, Kenny Galladay is wide receiver 6. They're benching Isaiah Hodgins for and Richie James for Kenny Galladay.
I want to
Yeesh.
I want to get back to that one day. I hope that one day we can just go to week 18, just rest our guys and
Oh,
be
that'd be
like, you know
great.
what, we made the postseason. We can just chill and just watch this game, knowing that no matter what, win or lose, we're still in the postseason, and just
Mm-hmm.
one day. But Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, in terms of both the running back and the receiving position, both seem pretty set as it is. But adding a Harris or a Michael Thomas wouldn't hurt, but it would
No,
also kind of impact how we see those
it's a,
positions look at.
yeah, and it detracts from like it's not going to be a lot of cap space, but this $11 million is cap space that can go into more defensive depth, more depth on the O line, and it takes away from development of Hyatt, Tracy Jr., Wandale Robinson, all guys that we have high hopes for and hope that they can be future stars one day.
Exactly. So we'll see. As we're recording this today is episode 2 of Hard Knocks, so we'll get to see the draft process for New York.
Any big predictions for the show tonight?
Ooh, that is a good question. Prediction wise, I predict we'll see some sort of interview with the Giants with the quarterback of some
Okay.
sorts. That's because I know the Giants do the due diligence, right? And we know Malik
Mm-hmm.
Nabers will be part of the interview process in today's episode. We saw that in the preview of at the end of episode 1. But I do think we'll see an interview with one of the quarterbacks from that draft. So it could be I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say like a Caleb or a Jaden Daniels, but I'm thinking
I
maybe a
think Drake.
Drake
I think Drake
May.
May.
Yeah,
I think we'll see Drake May tonight. That's I
that's
think because especially with all the rumors going around, I think if there's any sort of tape with the Giants, even if they're talking about Drake May, that's going to make its way in the episode.
exactly. What do you think, buddy? Is there any predictions you have for today's show by any chance?
I think we're going to get a lot of Burns talk. I think it's going to focus mainly on Burns and the combine because it kind of got teased. All right, it's gonna be 2 seconds for Brian Burns. We're seeing it already start to come down. I think it's gonna be a major episode of explaining how that price tag came down from a first plus to a second and a fifth.
Fair enough. I do hope that's featured too because Burns was a big acquisition for us, and to get him for the cost that
Acquisition
we
in the offseason. Like outside maybe Malik Nabers is the only guy, but that's like the draft. I don't really count that.
this is free agency
Yeah,
in a way because it was trade, but
it was a signing trade. It
exactly.
was kind of like a signing trade. Only we signed him as soon as we got him.
Here you go. Plus, we're gonna see Brian Dable with his 40-yard dash talk.
I saw you retweet that, reposted on TikTok
I
today.
love that guy. I
I
love
love
that
Brian
guy.
Dable. I mean, he's not. I mean, I think he could run it.
Oh, me too. And dude, he's lost a lot of weight.
He looks great. Look
I don't know.
great.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I wouldn't? I'm not gonna go ahead and say Ozempic, but
He might be on something. Like that.
something.
He's lost a lot of weight in a short amount of time. Like
Yeah.
I if he's not an exercise, God bless, great for him. But like, I think he has a little help.
And his wife too. They both
Yeah.
from if you look at their introductory picture from when they first joined the Giants to now, night and day. And
Oh yeah.
props to both of them. They look fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And along with that, Dable is a changed man. He wants to calm down on his attitude from last year where he was yelling a lot to just be a calmer approach from what we've seen from reports recently. So hopefully we get to see that on the field. But physically he looks great. It's just the whole approach towards players and coaches yelling at them.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll see less of that this year because it did ruffle some feathers like we
Yeah.
saw with the whole Martindale. But I won't talk about him too much because he's I think he's in Michigan now. Martindale. No,
I think so. I don't know. I hate him. So wherever he goes, it's fine.
Good riddance.
That's
Who
one
cares?
thing I wish they did cover in Hard Knocks. Just a little bit of the Martindale stuff.
That's what I'm thinking.
They
But
kind
they
of just
didn't.
kind of glossed over it. Like there's a lot of drama going on behind the scenes, and they just kind of like, oh yeah, Wade Martindale's out. I'm like, whoa.
It's like, hey, we want to know what happened at least, but hey, they don't want to discuss it, then that's not our problem. See, look, we don't care about the University of Michigan, right, Brian? We care about Notre Dame, which leads us to a second segment called Subway Alumni Opinion. And Brian, there's college football is right around the corner, as we
54
all
days
know.
away.
Yeah, I'm excited.
54 days away, and we are a little over a week from college football 25 being out. So
I'm
get excited, people. If you have early access, you are under a week away.
I'm still trying to figure out who I'm going to rebuild first. I still haven't decided yet. I do want to
Still
do
undecided?
Oregon. Oregon seems too easy because they're good. I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
San Jose State because I'm from California. We'll
Yeah.
see.
West
But I
Virginia
got.
wouldn't be a bad one.
Ooh,
You got
I'll
the
read into that.
Big 12 kind of stuff, or you can move them to the ACC, which is probably where they should be playing.
Oh, because you can fix the conferences again.
Yes, I already have some saved of like the old like 2010 conferences. I'll be recreating. Like the Big East is coming back.
No way.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
Ah.
Syracuse, Boston College, UConn, Rutgers, all that.
You're creative. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just want to play the game, but you're thinking getting things back to where they used to be, and that's honestly a good thing.
Basically reliving, 10-year-old me watching college football. That's that's all I want. I'm not living as an inner child or anything.
I don't ask for much. Just have things back the way they used to be. That's all we care about.
Just saying
Uh,
things back the way you were in 2014 will be good.
all right. Well, I got one of these. Came in the mail yesterday. Thank God.
Beautiful.
I have a lot to read. It's like a 264 pages, but the one school I care about is this team right here. I did my research yesterday. Y'all can see that the Irish.
Good boy.
Um, but obviously this is Brian's segment. So Brian, I gotta know because I see the schedule, right? But I gotta
Mhm.
know what are 3 games that we should look
Okay.
forward to for the Irish.
All right. So number one, first game of the season in College Station against Texas A&M. That, of course, should be the number one game people are circling right now. It's a great test for this Irish team because this is a team that we think should make the postseason. This is a 10-win team. It's an easier schedule this year than it was last year, but we still got some tough opponents on it. We'll get to who the other tough opponent is in 1 second. But it's going to be a very good test for this Notre Dame team. Right out of the gate, let's see what we do against a Texas A&M team who's supposed to be competitive in this, SEC. Mike Eco, brand new coach. I forgot where he coordinated before, but he's a first-time coach. Was very big in the transfer portal for Texas A&M this year. So much so that they're projected to go 9-3. And not only that, but Connor Wegman, their starting quarterback, who missed the final 9 games last year, he'll be starting again. So this is a very good Texas A&M team, and if Notre Dame can go out there and beat them, that's a statement win that Notre Dame is back in the national conversation, beating up on a team that's supposed to do very well in one of the best conferences in the sport in the SEC. The second team, similar sort of story, and that's Florida State. Now, Florida State, Notre Dame played them to start the year. I believe it was 3 in 2021. They eked out a 38-35 victory in Florida State. So now they'll be, returning the favor, coming to South Bend. I believe it's week 7-ish. I'm not sure exactly what top week 7. Let's
It
go. So
looks
week
it
set.
look yeah, it looks like week 7.
I know it's like the
Uh,
midseason, but Florida State should be coming in on a high note. They have a pretty easy schedule to start the year, so that they could be facing an undefeated Florida State team, potentially a more ranked one. This is a Florida State team that's got a lot of transfers in it too. They brought in DJ Ungalele, who I don't know if I got his name right, but it's close
close
enough.
enough.
But close enough, close enough. But yes, has he been a great college quarterback? No, we all expected him to be better than Trevor Lawrence when he got here, and he just never lived up to that. But don't forget, this is the same quarterback that led Clemson against Notre Dame in South Bend, in one of the greatest college football games I've ever watched when Notre Dame upset number one Clemson because Lawrence had COVID. That was a very good game, even though DJ was in it. But DJ coming to Florida State, he did pretty decently last year in Oregon State. Fresh start. Maybe he's able to, build some confidence off the easy schedule. This is a team that should be competing for an ACC championship. And Notre Dame has such connection to the ACC. If they can beat them, it's just another notch. All right, they beat Texas A&M and Florida State, two really good teams who both could be playing in that conference championship Saturday. It's kind of hard to leave Notre Dame out of the playoffs. And the third one, it's not really because of who they're playing, it's because of what it means. They'll be playing Army in late November in Yankee Stadium. That's a very historic sort of matchup. It goes back to what I said when we first start this segment, how Notre Dame was that national brand that would travel around and play in different places. That's a nice, homage to that. Playing Army in Yankee Stadium like it did back in the 40s and 50s when Notre Dame ran college football. So those are the three games that you should be, watch every Notre Dame game. But if you're only going to pick three, those are the three to watch.
Okay. I know it may be too early to ask this because we still have to look over the opponent by opponent, which we will do so pretty soon in our future episodes. But hypothetically, how realistic is it to say Notre Dame heads into the college football playoff undefeated? Is that a realistic?
I would say pretty realistic. It's an easier schedule this year than it is last year. They're playing Northern Illinois. They're playing a lot of schools that are kind of on the down. Army and Navy, they should beat them up pretty well. If the hardest opponents are probably Texas A&M and Florida State. So if they can beat them, there's no reason why this team shouldn't be 12-0.
And those two games are like so far apart where it's like if you beat Texas A&M week 1, you should be able to kind of obviously not settle, but like kind of cruise your way.
Yeah, there's no stretch like there was last year when it was like Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, like 3 ranked opponents back to back to back. There is no stretch like that this year. There's no like gauntlet this year. It's all right, you're playing a really good team, and then you got some tune-up games coming up, which, yes. Is Notre Dame been accused of that? Sure, but every team doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I see it right here. I mean, Texas A&M, you get through that, then you have Northern Illinois, right? And then you have Purdue. Should be not too bad.
That should be a win, yeah.
Yeah, and then Miami, Ohio, that's
win.
Louisville, you guys did lose to them last year, but I feel like y'all should be okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a toss-up game, but we should beat them.
Yeah, Stanford. No.
It's a win.
Yeah, Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
We always beat Georgia Tech. Win.
Navy at
win.
MetLife.
We 52-10 last year in Ireland against Navy.
Oh, it's actually 42-3.
42-3.
Woo! That's Jesus. Florida State. Okay, so Florida State, and then if you get past that, you have Virginia, Army. USC doesn't have Caleb Williams, but they will be competitive.
USC is always a competitive game, but like I don't want to say that's a must watch because we play USC every year. We play USC every year since '97. It's a rivalry game. That's like saying the most anticipated Alabama game this year is against Auburn. Like, yeah, of course it is. That's a no-brainer.
So because it's a 12-team playoff, you don't have to be perfect per se. So I guess another on-the-spot question is, if you do lose to Texas A&M, hypothetically, lose Texas A&M, right, and you lose to Florida State, but you win out every other game that you have, should Notre Dame be okay making the playoff with 2 losses, or will they?
Yeah, they'll be okay, but it's not going to be. They're not going to host a home playoff game. They're going to be sitting somewhere from 10 to 12 and going and traveling somewhere to play.
And obviously you don't want that because you want to get those.
No, I want because Notre Dame will never get a bye because we're not in the conference. But I want to be sitting 5 through 7 with a home playoff game in South Bend, ready to go.
Got it. That makes sense. Well, we shall see. But at the end of the day, you said Florida State, Navy. No, you said Florida State, Army, and Texas A&M.
54 days before that College Station game.
And until then, we'll be previewing opponent by opponent in future episodes. So the Aggies will be up first in our preview. So, Brian, shout out to you, my guy. Thank you for that. And that ends our Subway Alumni Opinion segment as we head towards third down now. The carousel is the next segment for us today, and we will explore the NFL outside of the Giants. But this is an interesting topic because our guy, not our guy, I would say, but he's a pretty fan favorite, Joe Burrow from LSU.
Love Joe Burrow.
I really do. He has that aura about him that I like. Yeah.
It's weird. He kind of like he has like that aura and like dresses funny, but like he doesn't get hate. It's like, oh, look at Joe Burrow being funny. Like I don't know why he doesn't get hate like some of the other quarterbacks do.
Exactly. He's a mature player off the field, and on the field he's a productive guy. I mean, he did make the AFC Championship like not too long ago, and then Patrick Mahomes just ruined everything. Well, no, he beat Patrick Mahomes.
He beat Patrick Mahomes his first time in the championship game. Probably and was battling him until that horrific unnecessary roughness call out of bounds. Basically
Exactly.
sank the Bengals in that game.
Ugh. But I do hope the Bengals do. I think they have a chance. I really think they have a chance to make it
Yeah.
back there.
If
This
healthy, if Burrow's healthy, I would be shocked if the Bengals aren't in the AFC Championship game.
Plus they have Zach Moss back there in the backfield. Not too
Mm-hmm.
bad. I mean, it's Joe Mixon. The drop off between Joe Mixon and Zach Moss isn't that
There's a
much.
drop off, but like I said, running backs are easy. They're more replaceable and expendable. You can find that next running back kind of wherever.
Exactly. So you guys are probably wondering why we mentioned Joe Burrow. Well, he had some comments on an 18-game schedule. Now, we're all for more football, right, in this world, because we could
There's
care
not enough
less.
of it.
Seriously, we could care less about the preseason. Seriously. Well, okay, not this year because we have players to watch. But in recent
If you're a
memory,
competitive team, why would you care about the preseason at all?
so
Like
Chiefs, Niners, Bills.
Yeah, like all the starters in the Chiefs. All the starters. There's no position battles. Like we're just excited for the preseason because we have interesting young players in position battles. Outside of that, there's no reason to really watch it.
Preseasons are for teams that stink.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like how if your team's good, you still care about the NFL draft, but you don't care about it till February. Like if you're a bad team, you care about it in October.
And when the draft does come, you're just waiting. Like, okay, my team has the 31st pick. All right, I can go take a shower. I can eat dinner. I can go hang out with my friends. Come back and still find out because the first round of the draft is unbelievable. Speaking of which, the draft should not be that long. I'm sorry. Okay, the first round, I understand.
It's a big event now.
Yeah,
it's a spectacle. That's all it is.
It can't be 3 hours though.
No.
Come on, dude. Teams do not take that long. They do not take 10 minutes to make a decision.
No.
I don't care if it's a TV event. Please make it shorter. Okay, we got things to do. Okay.
Yeah.
And why are we doing this? I don't even know.
My buddy's girlfriend watched the draft with us last year. She goes, "You guys like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is great."
Yeah, dude. It's the first round.
She's like, "What?" She's like, "All right, I guess I'll just start drinking wine. I guess." I'm like, "Yeah, have fun, maybe.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself. It's gonna be a while."
We'll play cornhole soon.
Give us some time. It's almost done. We promise. It's like the 16th pick. Are you guys done yet? No, we're not even
done. You guys have drank a 30-pack. We're well aware.
But yeah. So Joe Burrow, he hopped on the Pardon My Take podcast not too long ago, and he was asked what a perfect NFL schedule would look like. And Joe Burrow actually made a theory about an 18-game schedule and how it would look like. So basically, you would have the normal bye week, right? Which is fine. Blah blah blah. But specifically week 13, Burrow proposed a Pro Bowl break where, you could have those 7-on-7s, you could have those skill challenges, and teams would have the bye week. So all 32 NFL teams would have their regular bye week, but also another bye week before they prepare for the last 6 games of the season. He thinks that this will promote the Pro Bowl more, have more ratings or better ratings for that event that's been slowly dying for the past few years now.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, teams would have a bye week going into the last 6 games of the season. I understand that this may not be in the works right now, Brian, but what do you think of this proposed plan by Joey Burr himself?
I love this. I think this is a home run idea because the NFL is the only sport that doesn't have an all-star break. Baseball, we are a week away, not even a week away from the all-star break. The home run derby is Monday, the all-star game is Tuesday. NBA, NHL, they all take a week off for their all-star festivities. You put the Pro Bowl a week before the Super Bowl, nobody cares. Nobody, because everyone's mind is all on the big game. It's an appetizer, but it's kind of like getting an appetizer at McDonald's. Why are you doing that to yourself? Just go get the Big Mac. Go for the big value item. Go for the good thing. Don't just all right, I'm going to start with the French fries. No. Everyone's so focused on the Super Bowl, it takes away. And then the season's over. It's been over for a month, so players are on vacation. They're with their families. They really want to get dragged out somewhere and play in a meaningless exposition game? No, do it during the season while everyone's kind is still in the mix and playing, and it would get more eyeballs because the fans are so used to so much football. Then a week with no football, all right, I guess we'll just watch the Pro Bowl. And another thing that I thought of while you were explaining it, put the trade deadline that Tuesday. So teams, not only the teams get the bye week, but they can go like, okay, we need a receiver. Boom, let's go trade for one. So it makes the trade deadline, instead of being like one move, creates it more like the NFL MLB trade, NBA MLB trade deadlines, where it's you have to watch and be coverage of it. Less games, teams can create those, kind of get those runs going.
And if you think about, because I think for MLB, right, you have the All-Star game and then you have the trade deadline later on, right? Is that how?
2 weeks later, it's the end of July. July 30th this year, I believe, to the deadline. It's around there. July 30th, July 31st is the deadline.
Compared to the NFL, where it's like you have the trade deadline and then you have said Pro Bowl week.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think who cares if the trade deadline is pushed 4 weeks further down than what it is now? Because I think the trade deadline is going to be like week 9 now.
Yeah.
Why
But
not have it?
it makes more sense to do it there because it kind of, and like, sure, learning playbooks and stuff is harder, but that's why you have the extra bye week.
Mm-hmm. And
For someone, like, yeah, they might be in the Pro Bowl, but like they also might not be. So they can sit, learn the book, and then all of a sudden they have like 10 days to learn it rather than, a week.
and with the after that second bye week, you have 6 games left. Teams can look and be like, okay, are we actually going to compete? Do we have a shot, or are we going to just stop and just wait till next season? And that way, teams can be like, okay, let's trade for this guy. Like you just said, great point, because teams can be like, okay, let's get the Panthers are 2 and something. Let's go ahead and maybe trade for Deontay Johnson since we're competing for heading to the playoffs. So yeah, and
it's the one area the NFL doesn't dominate every sport in. It's trading, because the regular season of the NFL playoffs, you can make the playoffs are probably an argument. I think it's more taste, but NFL has an argument to be made that they're the best. Championship game, NFL without question. Draft, NFL without question. Free agency, again, it's probably a toss-up, but the NFL is up there. The one area the NFL can't compete is the trade deadline, because think like for MLB, NBA, NHL trade deadline, you're sitting there all day watching. NFL trade line, you look on your phone at 4 o'clock to see the 2 trades that were made all day. Like, it's not like a countdown drama rumor type event like the other 3 are. So imagine having that type of drama in the NFL. It'd be unbelievable.
There you go. And here's the best thing, because we're both students. I personally, I'm not a drinker. I know you do for fun, which is, who cares? I think it's funny.
That's hilarious. It's
Because
great.
we text randomly back and forth when you are in that state. The reason why I bring it up,
I get some ideas.
And that's the best thing, because like you propose like random ideas for the show, and it's like, okay, this guy's he's thinking of
His
something.
brain is firing. There's not much going on upstairs, but he's got something firing up there.
And the reason why I bring that up is that, so you have these 18 weeks of football, you have the 2 bye weeks. The Super Bowl lands on President's Day or President's Day weekend. So the people who drink too much have Monday off.
I mean, how long have we been screaming for the day of Super Bowl? I remember being a little kid and praying for snow Super Bowl Sunday so I didn't have to go to school on Monday. No, of course, I wasn't drinking when I was in elementary school, but it's just like I want to stay up, watch the game, then stay up all night watching highlights, watching what the players are saying and stuff like that. But that's where the sports nerd in us comes out. And, when you had school at 6 o'clock, and you had to wake up for school at 6 in the morning, it's like, oh, well, now I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, because, let's say the Giants win the Super Bowl, right? And it's like, okay, we get to celebrate all Sunday long. Monday, we go to sleep late. Monday, wake up whenever and be like, okay, no school, nice. We can still celebrate. We can watch the highlights. We can watch the interviews. Watch the game again if we really feel like it. All that's, and whether it's, you're a kid and you just want to go to school, or you're an adult who was hungover, having that Monday off just does wonders for them. And it's like, okay, we can just relax and enjoy what we just witnessed 24 hours ago. or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So, man, whoever says LSU athletes ain't smart, Joe Burrow just proved you wrong.
Not listening.
Oof. There's something about LSU athletes, man. Seriously, Joe Burrow, Paul Skeens. I love Paul Skeens.
Livy Dunn.
Oh, Livy Dunn. Bro, that couple, man, is like a power couple. If you
better
want
than Taylor, better than Taylor and Travis. All right, better. So much better. They're so much less annoying.
That is true. I love Travis and Taylor. I do, mostly because of Travis. Swift, not so much. I just love Kelsey.
I can't stand Swift. She makes good music, but I can't stand her fans.
Yeah, but from a publicity standpoint, Livy and Paul ain't that bad. Like they keep it low, but
Livy's in the ballpark, and it's not every other second they're throwing the camera on her. Like, sure, they might do it once or twice, but it's not like, first down, Taylor, second down, Taylor, third down, Taylor. Like, stop.
If anyone deserves it, is Livy, though. Livy she's been phenomenal from how she's approached herself. But Paul Skeens, oh boy. And he made the All-Star game
so good. I'm just praying that elbow doesn't explode.
I know.
I just feel like it's a ticking time bomb.
His pregame routine is like responsible, but like actually interesting because he does all these like different things, like football and the thing behind his back where he's like, it's like twisting his body like super fast, and I'm like, well, dang, bro, like that don't hurt. But hey, he's been phenomenal. He's played 10 games this season for the Pirates, and he hasn't gotten hurt. He hasn't lost a game. Actually, he's undefeated as a starter.
Probably should start the All-Star game because he's there.
He better start.
I don't think they'll give it to him, but I would love if he started. Give Pirate fans some hope. They need it.
Tell you what, last segment, outside the lines. Before we dive into our top 5 actresses, I gotta know, because the All-Star game, like we just talked about, right? Paul Skeens should start. I'm looking at the roster right now. Wait, Mets. Who made the
Pete Alonso? I got some problems.
Okay. You
love Pete to death. Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo, the All-Stars on the New York Mets, not Pete Alonso.
I would have to say Christian Walker should have made it over Alonso, but Lindor is a valid point. I do think Lindor should have been in there. Nimmo, I don't know much. What makes Nimmo more worthy of making it?
Nimmo's got great stats on the year. He's hang on, I had it pulled up right here. So my computer just continues. Yeah, so he has over 50 runs and RBIs. Computer, stop. I gotta fix his computer.
Okay, no worries.
He's got 13 home runs in the year, 17 doubles, got a 136 OPS plus, meaning he's 36% better than the average hitter. Those are all numbers that get you in. All right. Like if I hear someone's 36% better than an average player, that's an all-star, in my opinion. Plus, he's got the RBIs and the runs and the home runs and the big clutch moments to throw him over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, Lindor he's had a solid season, but I know he struggled, had that rough stretch where it's like, okay, well, maybe.
He struggled, but he struggled in April. If you look at Lindor's career numbers, he always struggles in April. And, he's playing in New York. Do you know how hard it is to hit a baseball in April in New York? It's cold out. The ball doesn't travel.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining myself. I mean, my Phillies, they had like 7 All-Stars in there.
Well, when you have one of the best records in MLB, you're gonna get favored a little bit.
Exactly, man. My A's had Mason Miller. That was no question whatsoever. But yeah, I was looking at the Mets and I was like, okay, Lindor should have been in there because he's been on a hot stretch. Alonso, Nimmo. Like
Alonso's there because of the home run derby. That's why they want to play the home run derby.
Can't you just be a home run derby participant and not be an all-star? Like,
you can. Stan was a few years ago. and he won
Yeah,
it.
so there you go. So it's like, why
Yeah.
can't? Well, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the pitchers though, because I know that's what we were talking about, Paul Skeens and whatnot. I'm looking at the MLB pitchers for the National League. He should start. I mean, I don't see Glasnow, no. Reynaldo Lopez, no. Chris Sale. I don't know how Chris Sale is. Well, I know why he's an all-star because he's been great, but he's turned things around. Ranger Suarez, definitely no. Even though I love him, don't do it. Robert Suarez, no. Well, no, he's a reliever. Logan Webb of the Giants, no. Zach. There's no other pitcher that deserves a start than Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
I don't want Tyler Glass now. He can pitch the second or the third inning. Okay. Zach Wheeler isn't going to play anyways because he's starting today for the Phillies and also on Friday. So you can't just pitch a guy on 2 days rest for just an all-star game or whatever the case may be. There's no other intriguing name. Maybe Shota Imanga from the Cubs, but
Yeah, he'd be good, but he's like not like he was dominant start the year. He's kind of come down to earth a little bit.
yeah. So I wouldn't. Nah, we good, fam. I would go Paul Skeens to start, and the first three guys he'll be facing. I don't know who they will be, but I know Soto and Judge will be two of the three that will likely
Yeah.
face against them. So why not have one of the youngest faces in MLB take
Face
on
the
these
superstars.
stuff exactly, and let's see what he got. Well, let's see. Who knows? But anyways. The main reason why we have this outside the line segment is because we dive into everything outside of sports. And today's topic is top 5 actresses. Next episode will be actors. But we decided to go with the woman route today. And like I said, for our future partners, please disregard this episode because we were just young and single. Cool. All right. You can go first, Brian. Who are your top 5 actresses that you've seen in your past and you liked?
All right, so number 5, I'll go with Kate Olsen. She plays Dee on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, married to Rob McElhenney. It's just kind of very funny seeing those two together. That's why she's number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, I'm gonna go with Anna Kendrick simply because I think she's cute. Straight up said it. Number 3, I'm going to go with Carrie Fisher because she played Princess Leia. It was a major part of my childhood growing up watching all the Star Wars movies, and continue to be. She plays Peter's boss in Family Guy. She played what's the brewery girl's name? Who owns the brewery?
I'm thinking of it.
Angela. She
yes.
plays Angela. She
darn
voices Angela in Family Guy. It's a very, very funny when you kind of know both of them. Number 2, Margot Robbie.
Oh, that's a sleeper. I didn't add that one.
Hot take.
No. Yeah. Congrats to her, by the way, having her first baby.
Very, very first child. Someone on Twitter goes, someone on Twitter says this is the worst news all day.
No. I actually, I don't know if you see the Barbie movie. I haven't either, but at the end of the movie, she's like, she's here to see what are the doctors that deal with
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what she was going to see at the end of the Barbie movie, and I guess someone tweeted out that ties in with what with her current pregnancy. So I was like, oh, it all comes together. But congrats to her though.
Yeah, of course, congrats to her. But. And then number 1, my favorite actress of all time, Natalie Portman.
Ooh, there you go. Why Portman? Why Portman number 1?
Because she still is my celebrity crush. She was like the first girl I had a crush on growing up because she plays Padme in Star Wars. And if you have seen Star Wars, it's, I'm just going to say I understand why Anakin turned to the dark side.
There you go.
If you know Star Wars, you get the reference.
Okay. Sounds good to me. All right. So my top 5, first 5 is Mila Kunis.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I forgot about her.
Friends with Benefits. Watched that years ago. Still looks good to this day. Yep, Meg from Family Guy. So has a comedic side to her, but also she's very attractive. Four is Megan Fox. We know from her from Transformers. When it came out in 2007, every 7, 8-year-old celebrity crush back then.
Yeah.
Still looks good. She's very attractive. So number 3 is Sydney Sweeney for obvious reasons. I know she has a partner, I think now, but that doesn't change
Damn
the
it.
fact that she's a very attractive woman. Was on SNL not too long ago, right? And
yeah, she did. She did
yeah,
a skit with her Hooters girl outfit. Every man was watching that over and over and over again.
yeah. I was pretty shocked.
one of them.
I was, you son of. I was watching and I was like, oh god, this is gonna ruffle some feathers. Because
if you have a problem with that, you're a loser. Shut up.
exactly, man. Something's wrong with you if you have an issue. Now I understand
Yes.
if you're,
Hooters is an American institution. Stop going after it.
exactly. Don't change how the
I'm going to Hooters
the-
twice this week. Okay. you
Oh,
have a T-shirt.
nice. I'm telling you, you're gonna find your future partner in there, my guy. Who knows?
I would love it. That'd be great.
Number 2 is Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow from Marvel. She's obviously stunning. She's definitely an eye popper when it comes to Marvel and stuff like. Because we know about Captain America and all that stuff, but when you have female stars like Johansson and starring as Black Widow,
you mean Scarlett Johansson wearing spandex? Yeah,
that does something to you.
That'll put asses in the seats. You opened this can of worms when we went to this. We did this.
Man, that's the first thing that came to mind. So I was like, screw it. We'll see what we can do.
That is the first thing we said. Actually, so I'm like, okay, which ones are hot? I'm like, all right, maybe I should throw 2 in there that I don't. Caitlin Olsen's funny and Carrie Fisher means a lot to me. Boom, done. The rest are just me being horny.
And then number 1 for me, Jenna Ortega. Love her a lot.
Interesting.
Big celebrity crush for me. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. Some people will say she looks younger than her age. Okay, well, she's not. Okay, she's
yeah. Okay, she looks it, but she's not.
She's not. Okay, I'm not Drake. So she's 21. So what? 3? She got I got 3 or 4 years up her, but it's fine.
You went to high school together. You've been in high school together.
Yeah, exactly. So, and she's honestly, whether it's Wednesday, the Scream movie or whatever, she's been in a lot of movies, and obviously her days in Disney.
Channel star.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew she'd go from Disney star to?
Yeah, she was a weird one. Like not a weird one, but like one that took off because you had Zendaya and Bella Thorne both took off.
In opposite directions.
Yeah. Yeah, I expect to see Bella Thorne on a certain website, but hasn't happened yet. But I'm waiting for the day. It's coming.
I think she was a director for said website.
She was. I've seen it.
Go on.
No, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I thought you had more.
But nope, this one.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Disney, as we're gonna wrap up here in just a bit, Disney has created a lot of stars. They've Sabrina Carpenter, right? For example,
Sabrina Carpenter, Selena Gomez.
Zendaya,
Disney girl.
Zendaya, you said.
Zendaya, Bella Thorne. Sabrina Van Dyke didn't. Oh. Tisdale.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, Vanessa Gardner.
Vanessa Gardner.
Yeah, the girl in High School Musical.
Oh, Hudgens.
Why is Vanessa Gardner? What the hell is
that? You good? You good? She's dating an MLB player too.
Is she really?
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, but they just had a kid. Yeah, Cole Tucker.
Oh, nice.
Cole Tucker. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just in general, just Disney stars in general, they've gone from the kid side of them to more successful things in life, and yeah,
she had her father helping her, but she's a Disney kid.
Yeah, true. Just overall, props to all of it, man. But Jenna Ortega, she's come a long way from Stuck in the Middle, the Disney show, to Oof. I'm just that's my celebrity crush. I tell you, I'm not ashamed. I will say that I'm not ashamed. And she's from California, so it works out for
There you
everybody.
go.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that's gonna wrap it up here for this episode. We will see you on Thursday, right? Unless
We
something
again
happens.
apologize to all our future wives and girlfriends about this whole segment.
Exactly. Salma. Oh, Salma Hayek. I forgot about attaboy Kevin. I just spoke to Kevin this weekend, too, and Kevin made a few comments earlier as well. Glasnow said he said he should start the All-Star game. I would like definitely Skeens, of course, that we talked about earlier, to start because of the excitement he brings. And then
Yeah.
finally, Kevin also says Miller gets traded for the deadline. No,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
I will.
If a
Mason,
team backs up the truck and gives you a bunch of prospects for a reliever, you have to
no,
make that deal.
2029 is when we have his team control too.
I
I'm
know,
good.
so you can get a really good prospect for him.
I'm good. We need a closer. We haven't had a closer in from my years as a fan of the A's, which is like 2.5 years. Sure, you can add me. I don't care. Okay. My friend introduced me to the A's. He took me to my first baseball game. I've fallen in love with them ever since. That's all y'all gotta know. I've known for sure, based off what I've seen and from history, I've researched the A's have not had a closer in years. This is our first closer. Leave it that
Sean
way.
Doolittle?
Yeah, but like a guy that does like a hundred with like
Right, yeah.
with a slider like that,
True.
we good.
Very true.
We are good. Trust me. No, but real talk. We'll see what happens there with the trade deadline. We will have a show later in the month. I don't know when the trade deadline is, but we will have a show with.
We're doing a live sort of show for it. I'm not sure what time it's going to be at, but it'll be the two of us and Eric Katz of Belly Up Sports. He will be hopping on to do kind of live reaction to the deadline.
Yes.
Probably air play around, I don't know, like 2:30, 3 o'clock Eastern time. But deadline, actually, no, deadline's at 6. We'll figure it out, but just be on the lookout for that. This is something me and Eric got to talk about.
Sounds good to me. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all on Thursday. Enjoy Hard Knocks tonight, and we'll break all of that down in our next episode. So until then, we'll see y'all next time.